Live and Uncut, and I'm your host, the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, John R. Heinis, and we're going to talk the latest and greatest in Hudson County news as we do every week. So quite a few things of note happening. So first of all, the biggest one has to be First Lady Tammy Murphy dropping out of the U.S. Senate race. Obviously, this sent shockwaves throughout the entire Garden State, and Hudson County was no exception. And actually, our county executive, Craig Guy, was one of the few people in the room as the news was unfolding. So we're going to tell you about what happened there and what this means for that upcoming June 4th primary. Obviously, it looks pretty good for U.S. Representative Andy Kim. Now, beyond that, speaking of statewide races, we're already, of course, talking about 2025 in a lot of ways. And in one way, we know that Jersey City Mayor Stephen Fulop has unveiled his fourth white paper, if you will. That's a Health and Human Services statewide plan. And in that, he really went after monopolies with hospitals, and he also called it a corruption tax, the way that companies like Horizon are handling insurance. So we're going to explain what all that means and what the implications are there. We're also going to talk a little Miles Square City. And one thing on the radar is, of course, the 8th District congressional race. The reason those two things are related is, of course, Mayor Ravi Bala is challenging United States Representative Rob Menendez in that 8th District. So quite a few things happened there. A bunch of endorsements have come down, one of which Bala got a lot of blowback for. And then also he signed that e-bike delivery licensing ordinance, despite the fact a lot of people were expecting a veto. So with that, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one path stop away, or a quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Hudson County View, live and uncut, John R. Heinis. So again, let's talk about this U.S. Senate race. Tammy Murphy made it official on Sunday. Out of nowhere, there really wasn't any build up to this. We just all of a sudden saw this social media video pop up, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And she said that she is going to be suspending her campaign. In this case, it meant the exact same thing as dropping out because the filing deadline was Monday. So not really any time to turn this around. And when we look at the 3.5-minute video, here's a couple quotes I thought were telling of the situation. After many busy, invigorating, and yes, challenging months, I am suspending my Senate campaign today. I have been genuine and factual throughout, but it is clear to me that continuing in this race will involve raging a very divisive and negative campaign, which I am not willing to do. And with Donald Trump on the ballot and so much at stake for our nation, I will not in good conscience waste resources tearing down a fellow Democrat. So she did not endorse Kim outright, but with her out of the race, it seems like this is his race to lose. We also have, Democratic hopefuls in Dr. Patricia Campos Medina and Larry Ham, but they haven't raised even a tiniest fraction of what Kim has, and they certainly don't have his experience in D.C. Campos Medina has been more aggressive on social media. She's been doing some more press. But again, I think the bottom line is that Kim is looking pretty good right now in this race. We do have this narrative in the background that U.S. Senator Bob Menendez, who of course is fighting a whole litany of federal corruption charges, but he would be running as an independent, and that would be after the trial that is scheduled to start on May 6th. So a lot of things would have to happen for him to get on the ballot, and right now that looks pretty improbable. But back to Tammy Murphy. Now, she had some of the best Democratic strongholds in the state behind her, Hudson, Passaic, Bergen, Essex, Middlesex. Of course, none of those have Democratic conventions, but when they did have conventions, those open conventions where the committee decides on who they will endorse, then she fared pretty poorly. She only went 2 for 12, meaning that she won 2, Andy Kim won 10, and it just seemed like he was getting a lot of momentum, a lot of this behind the federal lawsuit he has to end the county organizational lines. At the end of the day, sources tell me that the polling numbers and also attendance at recent fundraisers were not very good, and they decided it was better to get going while the getting is still good, as the old saying goes. So beyond that, not a heck of a lot else to add. Of course, Kim is ecstatic. And as I mentioned at the top of the program, worth noting that this meeting to decide that she was going to drop out happened at the Genova Burns Law Office in Newark. And there was New Jersey State Democratic Chair Leroy Jones. He's also the Essex County Chair. You had Bergen County Democratic Chair Paul Giuliano, and you had our Hudson County Executive Craig Guy. Just fun fact for you. So let's see how this race unfolds. But in a court filing yesterday, we saw that Kim's attorneys noted that he has accepted the HCDO line. Of course, by this time next week, there may be no county line. So we're going to obviously follow that story as well. Now, sticking with some statewide politics for a moment, Mayor Fulop yesterday out of Jersey City, of course, a Democratic candidate for governor. He had his fourth white paper plan, as I called it, and I think he has referred to it as well. And this one was about health and human services. What I thought was really interesting was that he rebuked what he referred to as a corruption tax at hospital monopolies. So certainly having a penchant to embrace controversy in recent months, and that continued yesterday. So this was a press call, a Zoom call that had 4 or 5 reporters on it, including myself. And he began with this. The reality is that there isn't another candidate or potential candidate that has proposed any ideas or suggestions for New Jersey. The other candidates are just running around New Jersey and talking to party chairs saying, hey, I want to be governor. Now, he continued that this is a more robust and detailed than probably any campaign in the history of New Jersey. And again, as I alluded to, he has already done these statewide proposals for transportation, housing, and public safety. Now, getting into the actual heart of the matter, he said in New Jersey, in many ways, people pay a corruption tax. The monopolies that have grown in New Jersey in the past decade, those things need to change. Horizon and their army of lobbyists, and some of them overlap on government interests. Take a step back and ask yourself, when Horizon moved away from their nonprofit status at warp speed, how did that happen, and why did it happen, and does that help people like you and me? So some pretty strong words from the mayor. And he was also critical of Horizon having the ability to negotiate directly with hospitals due to the overlap between politics, lobbying, and government, and noting that it's the everyday residents that take a financial hit in situations like this. And he said, of all of those things converge, and it ends up being a corruption tax in many ways, and healthcare is a big part of that. You need to unwind some of the overlapping businesses and how they work with various hospital systems. And then he did a Q&A with the media, as he always does in these scenarios. We talked a little bit about Hudson Health System. He said he wants to see an end to hospital monopolies, as I've already noted. But he specifically said you are now seeing hospital systems that are 4, 5, 6 counties large who are also aggressively acquiring private practices. Vertical integration without competition and without patient choice impacts patient outcomes. Now, he also pointed out, I believe for the first time, that there is a second option that has been proposed behind closed doors in the event that this Hudson Health System, which would be a team up between CarePoint Health and Hudson Regional Hospital, and that would be a Chicago-based healthcare provider teaming up with CarePoint, but no other details were available. So we're going to see what happens on that note, but he said that if the governor's office should be taking a more forceful approach on this to make sure that the CarePoint hospitals, of course that's Bayonne Medical Center, Christ Hospital in Jersey City, Hoboken University Medical Center, stay open. And he pointed out that when hospitals close, even temporarily, it's extremely difficult to get them to reopen. Talked about a lot of other things too. You talked about nutrition, talked about senior services, talked about family leave. So I'll let you read it. But with that, folks, we're going to take another break. When we come back, I'm going to be with Hoboken First Ward Councilman Paul Presinzano.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design studio and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Hudson County View, live and uncut. John Heinis, and as I mentioned a few moments ago, today we're joined with Hoboken First Ward Councilman Paul Presinzano. Paul, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, John.
All right. So now, obviously, I'm glad you were able to come in because the e-bike delivery ordinance, I know this is something you spent a lot of time on. You've been doing your own deliveries, and it's something you've been talking about since the campaign, I don't know, probably going all the way back to maybe July, approximately. So it passed, it was signed. I know there was some trepidation among you and supporters last week that the veto might happen, and it didn't. So your thoughts on the outcome?
I think it's a big win for the residents of Hoboken. I'm happy that the mayor finally saw the light. We tout Vision Zero in this town, and it's been touted 7 years, no deaths on our streets, but our sidewalks are another story. And if you live in my ward, you would see this on a daily basis. So I'm happy that the mayor has taken a step forward. This is a starting point. Nothing is perfect, so we have a lot of time to work on it. I do want to focus on this working group needs to have a lot less I can'ts and a lot more I cans. We have a lot of examples in the city that we can use that will get this moving forward. It's going to take a group effort, but I'm excited about it, and I'm really happy that the mayor actually saw the light at the end of the tunnel.
Cool. Now, that working group, it started with 11 people. What are we at now?
Probably 15, 16. I think working groups, personally, are better when they're a little bit smaller in numbers. The working group was a mayoral group, if I want to say. There was a lot of bike advocates on that, and there was only myself, Councilman Russo and Ramos, and Kevin Davis, a bike advocate as well, but we've been very friendly, and we finally brought in another gentleman who does this for a living. So there's 4 or 5 of us, and the other side. But ultimately, I think we can get this moving forward. I hope my colleagues will stand with me and that realize that this is something urgent that needs to be done today.
Sure. And, the good thing is when you first drafted this, and your colleagues as well, Councilman Ramos, Councilman Russo, they at least, had the presence of mind to not implement this till June. So you guys have about, 2 months to work together and try to work out any kinks, which is nice, I think. But having said that, the council meeting, and if you look at the mayor's letter to the council from Monday, there's 2 things, well, actually 3 things. So you had the police chief come up and he said this is unenforceable, and Bike Hoboken expressed that concern as well, among with other things. And then the mayor, in his letter said, I'm still worried about how this could impact immigrant communities that are apprehensive about taking tests, going into government buildings, due to their immigration status. So where do you think those issues lie now that we're at this point?
This has zero to do with immigration. This has to do with safety on the sidewalks. And if we want to be a town that pushes Vision Zero, well, this is a part of Vision Zero. It only makes it stronger. It makes a sidewalk where a pedestrian should feel safe. You can actually be on the sidewalk and not worry about playing Frogger with e-delivery personnel coming at you. I personally can't let my son anymore run beyond a few feet because he can get hit. I've seen people with dogs on their leashes. They don't let the dogs go around the corner because they don't know where these people are coming. Now, I think a lot of it has to do with education. And that's a big part of this rollout, that we're going to, be hitting the streets, doing it old-fashioned way of educating everybody. And I think it won't just be the city doing it. I think a lot of us will, be on the beat essentially in doing that. Now, those that say it's unenforceable, I think you have to really look in the ordinance. And most of the heavy lifting is going to was pushed towards the parking authority, which is already set up that gives out parking licenses around town on the streets. So they have a system already set up that works. I mean, at the peak, we were giving out 12,000 licenses. We're not talking about 12,000 licenses for all these. There's maybe 250. So anybody that wants to say, oh, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, no, we got to get to the bottom line of the problem. It's about making sure we don't have a fatality on our sidewalks. We care about our streets so much, let's worry about the sidewalks.
All right, very good. Now, there was a committee meeting, I guess you'd call it, for the working group on Monday. And of course, this was shortly after the mayor put that letter out, unbeknownst to most people, including myself. But with that said, what was the demeanor, what was the decorum like among the group on that night?
A bit somber. I think it was kind of a little left field. I have to say I'm quite surprised as well. I think not many were prepared for this response, but we took it in stride and we basically said we've got to work forward to get something done. So from that perspective, you have to put your personal feelings aside, and it's not about a winning or losing scenario. I think ultimately the people the community wins. That's what government's supposed to be there for, to provide services and to make sure your city is safe. So anybody that's on this working group has to realize the focus now is how do we get this implemented and how do we get it done?
So what do you think needs to be done to make sure that it's as close to perfect as humanly possible on June 1st?
Well, I've already spoken with Councilman Solomon, and he's been very supportive in this whole process. We are reaching out to some of the other towns to see how they can maybe introduce this into their legislation so that we kind of have a holistic approach of everybody in the area where majority of the delivery takes place.
Any communications with Union City?
We are starting that right now. We have some words in, but again, this week has been pretty busy on the political scene, so again, we try to understand that. But it's also the Easter weekend, so it's a little tough too. So we're going to take that into account. But everybody we talk to wants to work with us, and I think that's the positive thing here is that we're not making something that's absolutely impossible to do. At the end of the day, I know everybody wants to bring the app companies into this, but you have to understand some things in there. There's some technical things with 1099 employees that the apps can't do it. And let me just say this very clearly. Apps do not drive on sidewalks. Humans do. This is almost anybody that says it's the app's problem. We should look at it from a perspective that if you drive a car and you get a ticket, we can't give the ticket to the car companies that made the car, right? So it's the same thing. And you get the ticket. So I mean, when we think about these things, you have to understand the business side of it as well. Hoboken wants this service. I'm happy that we have people that are in a more environmental friendly system of an electric bike instead of a car. And it helps people make ends meet as well. So I think that it's a win-win-win for everybody as long as we can all realize that it's law now and we have to see how it's going to work.
Thank you, Paul. Don't go anywhere. Folks, also hang with tight. We're going to be right back.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Hudson County View live and uncut. John Heinis, and I'm still here with Hoboken First Ward Councilman Paul Presinzano. So obviously, you just outlined how you're going to make this a priority, make sure it's a smooth rollout to the best of your ability. But what's next for the First Ward and for what you have on your agenda in terms of legislative issues, endeavors?
There are several things that I think we need to address. I don't think some of them are done very quickly. We do have some situations. I'd like to see City Hall open up a little bit more with some parking around there, because it's very difficult for people to get in and do business, and especially that it's a commercial district. I'd like to see the ability that every form of transportation is getting the same, I don't know if I could say bite at the apple, but essentially we have been a little, one mode of transportation we've been pushing a lot. And I think one has been forgotten. And I represent everybody, not just one mode of transportation. So that's something that I'll be looking forward. There'll also be some, I think there'll be one or two coming down the road that will be very proactive for government, not usually government doing things that are proactive to get ahead of something that's happening in technology, but that'll be coming down the road. And ultimately, I think it's just about building bridges with some of my colleagues to realize that, hey, we're all in it for the same thing, and we want to do what's right for our constituents.
Care to give us a little taste about what you have in mind there?
Right now, we're still working out the kinks on it, but I think it'll come in the next couple weeks. So, I'll let you know what it is. But it's something I don't think anybody's really looking at across the country.
All right, well, looking forward to that one. Sounds exciting. So let's get into a little politics, which you and I both love. So we got this Senate race. Again, as I said at the top of the program, Andy Kim's looking pretty good right now. And then in the 8th District, you, of course, have Representative Menendez against Mayor Bala. So what do you think about those two races? And, what are you looking at personally?
When I was doing the research on Tammy and Andy, I was pretty impressed with Andy's background. He had spent a lot of time in the Middle East with much of our military in a really key role. And with the world, with a hotbed of activity there in the Middle East and also in Ukraine, I think his expertise in those areas is additive to the Senate. So I was pretty impressed with his pedigree there. So I feel comfortable. Now it's a one-man race, essentially. I think Kim is the right person to be in that role. Then when it comes down to Menendez and Rob and Ravi, it's no lie that I have been critical of the mayor of my town. I feel that under this scenario and what I've seen in just my short time in government, I feel that I think there doesn't need to be any change in Congress. From friends down in Washington, have only spoken very highly of Congressman Menendez. So, I'm going to make some decisions down the road of what I'm going to do, whether to endorse or not. But right now, I think we don't need any change, and I think he's done some great things for the 8th District. I'm really more impressed as a freshman congressman that he has built his own liking down there. To hear good things come back from people that are in higher level of the government, from some friends that have told me this, it's a great thing to hear.
Sure.
And he's also on a pretty hot committee there he's had some fiery speeches when they're dealing with the impeachment of,
Yes.
down on the border there. So he's been in the hot seat. And I like the way he's handled it. He's always, when I've reached out, he's always had the ability, or given me the ability or time to speak. And that's what I like. And I think he also brings youth. That's something we're lacking in Congress. I think we have to focus on that he brings a youth aspect that we don't have in Congress. So that's another positive for him.
All right, point taken. Now, obviously it's really early, but when we're looking at 2025 in Hoboken, maybe Mayor Bala runs again if the primary doesn't work out, who knows? What are you thinking about that? Anything at all?
There's a mayor's race. It's not for me. I know everybody has made assumptions that, I have this trajectory that, might follow my predecessor. I believe in a hierarchy and that it's other people's turns. I haven't made any decisions. I haven't backed any horses. So, right now I'm getting comfortable in my position. It's still a fire hose of knowledge and information and things I have to learn. So I feel that it's better suited for me that I would sit this one out. And I think it also has to be a decision I have to have with my family. And we haven't had that decision, or haven't had that discussion.
Got it. Any quick closing thoughts, Paul?
I have to say I'm happy at the progress that we've made so far since I've been in my role as first ward councilman. I am happy that we're in a position now that we could see some change in Hoboken, a change for the better. I am quite surprised, though, coming from the private sector to the public sector, accountability is just, it doesn't seem like it exists, and that's so surprising to me. People say in the private sector it's about money and finance and profits. Well, it's the same thing that you have in local government. Profits are essentially services, and how we get there and how we spend our money. So I think that we can do a lot better in Hoboken. That's what I'm realizing right away. But at the end of the day, I'm excited to learn more and to basically serve the people that elected me.
Onward to budget season. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. We're not quite done yet. We got one more segment. We'll be right back.
Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one path stop away, or a quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Good Friend Self Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer a Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Hudson County View, live and uncut. So a few more. We're really hitting prime election season. Like I said, filing deadline was Monday. In the 8th Congressional District, which of course is mostly Hudson County, we have, of course, U.S. Representative Rob Menendez seeking his second term. We have Hoboken Mayor Rami Bala and Kyle Jacey, who is a first-time candidate, and he's also the son of a former longtime assemblywoman in Essex County. That's Mila Jacey. So having said that, let's take a look at what happened with these endorsements. So quickly, before we get into the controversy, there was just some regular endorsements where 4th Ward Councilman Ruben Ramos came out for Menendez. Then we had Councilman-at-Large Joe Quintero come out for Bala. And then Hoboken 2nd Ward Councilwoman Tiffany Fisher, to the surprise of nobody, came out for Menendez, and also U.S. Representative Kim for Senate. Now, knowing that, you probably recall that on last week on this program, I mentioned that Bala was endorsed by 2 former 8th District congressional candidates, and that was Hector Asaguera and David Ocampo-Gajales. Well, the latter endorsement ended up getting Bala in a bit of hot water with some law enforcement, current and former members that have some ties to the Hudson County Democratic Organization. So what am I talking about? What I'm talking about is we heard from the following. It was quite a few, but Hudson County Executive Craig Guy, and he's a retired Jersey City Police Lieutenant, Hudson County Sheriff Frank Scileri, Hudson County Commissioner Chair Anthony Romano, a retired Hoboken Police Captain, Bayonne Mayor Jimmy Davis, a retired Bayonne Police Captain, Bayonne Councilman-at-Large Juan Perez, a former sheriff, Bayonne Councilman-at-Large Lloyd Booker, retired Bayonne Police Officer, Jersey City Ward C Councilman Rich Baggiano, retired Jersey City Police Detective, rounded out by Hudson County Sheriff Superior's FOP Lodge number 127 President Matt Fedro, Jersey City Police Officers Benevolent Association President Joe Casalini, issued this statement. They said, as current and former members of law enforcement, we are appalled and disappointed by Rami Bala's solicitation of an endorsement by David Ocampo-Gajales, an activist who has again and again called to defund police departments, make our communities less safe, and insulted the men and women who protect our families and neighbors on a daily basis. What they did is they dug up some old tweets, and they were certainly pretty derogatory towards law enforcement. One said, F that, and he didn't actually say F, I think you could guess what he said. Get a real job. A police force that can't even handle mean words should be abolished. It's always respect for these guys. It's clear they only wear the uniform to satisfy their fragile egos. That was in June 2020 in response to an NYPD presser. Now, Bala for Congress campaign spokesman Rob Horowitz, of course, brushed this off. He said this is a transparently sleazy attack with the same old Hudson County political machine that took its marching orders from Senator Bob Menendez and is now carrying the water for his son, Rob Menendez Jr. He also pointed out that in 2021, Bala got endorsed by the Hoboken Superior Officers Association, which wasn't surprising. He ran unopposed, but nonetheless, he got the endorsement. Speaking of endorsements, as we call it a day here, folks, State Senator Biraj Mukherjee of the 32nd Legislative District endorsed Jim McGreevey, of course, a former governor for Jersey City Mayor. That race is still 19 and a half or so months away. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching Hudson